Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got something new. I recently was watching Fear. If you don't know who Fear is, check him out on YouTube. He's a great kind of like another Johnny boy. He creates 1v1 content, puts on 1v1 tournaments, 1v1 matches. What do you call those? Show matches, that's what it's called. I was watching a video he recently posted, and guess what the matchup was? It was actually Flakes versus TRK511. Super entertaining series to watch, and I instantly clicked on this. I'm a huge Flakes fan for his personality, his play style, and as one comment was in the comment section, he gives us boomer players hope. Very true, very true. He's a very pre-mechanics era type of player. He likes to win his games off of game sense, off of playing smart, off of doing the simple things that are effective, but that people don't really take time to practice or do because it's not as flashy or cool looking, but is very effective nonetheless. And then he's matched up against TRK, who is one of, if not the most mechanically gifted, skillful players in the game. So this is a completely awesome matchup to watch. It's a masterclass of mechanics versus game sense. I'm not going to spoil the result, but going into this, I would definitely say that TRK is the favorite because honestly, TRK isn't your typical flashy player. He is very flashy, but we also know TRK is a very smart player. If you don't know that, he's also a very smart player. He's one of the most mechanically capable players in the entire game, but he's also, unfortunately for Flakes, he's also not just brain dead mechanical. He's very thoughtful in what he does. So anyways, let's watch this series. I think it's going to be really entertaining for you guys.
We are starting today with,
again, if you haven't seen this yet, or you don't know who Fear is, go check out his YouTube channel. Great content. Oh, right, and this is actually a pool. This is for a tournament that I think Fear is hosting, 1v1 tournament, and this is Pool B. We can see the matchups here. We can see the players in Pool B for this tournament, just to determine their seeding, I believe, going into the, I don't know what you'd call it, the playoffs for the tournament. But this pool has TRK, Moxie, Raziers, and Flakes. So these players are going to be matching up against each other. All these matchups are going to be on Fear's channel. It's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, Flakes is definitely the underdog in this pool, but as Fear's been mentioning throughout all of Flakes' series and games on his channel, Flakes actually went through the entire open qualifier for this tournament without losing a single series. He's lost a couple games, but he hasn't lost a single series, proving just how good Flakes still is. While people may not enjoy watching his gameplay all the time or his personal play style in the game because they think it's boring or they think it doesn't work because it's not super flashy and mechanical, it does indeed work, and Flakes is proving that, making it to the pool, I'm bad with tournament lingo, making it to the pool stage of the tournament without dropping a single series. But in this pool, I'm looking at these four players. While Flakes is the underdog, I think TRK is definitely going to be the hardest one for Flakes to beat. And that might sound a little crazy because you also see Moxie in this pool, and everyone knows Moxie is like the 1v1 player, kind of the number one 1v1 player in the world in a lot of people's eyes. But I think Flakes has a better chance against Moxie than he does TRK, simply because from what I understand, I don't watch a ton of Moxie content, but from what I understand, what I've heard, Moxie is a player who also prefers the ground game over the aerial game. He's very capable in the air, very, just as mechanical as any other player in the air, but he prefers the ground game. And when Flakes is up against any other player who also prefers the ground game, such as him, I'm inclined to favor Flakes because Flakes is he's sort of mastered the ground game. So if he's playing another player who prefers the ground game, it's going to be really hard for him to beat Flakes. Now, Moxie could always switch it up, knowing that or realizing that as they start playing and start taking to the air, in which case I think he gets the advantage over Flakes. But for that reason, I think that Flakes actually has a better chance against Moxie, who is a ground preferred player, whereas TRK is sort of a mix. He's very 50-50 on whether he prefers the ground or the air. And then Raziers, I don't watch a ton of Raziers either, but Raziers, between TRK, Moxie, and Raziers, I'm pretty sure that Raziers is the least threatening of those three players. I think Flakes can beat Raziers as well, but again, that might sound very ignorant coming from me because I don't watch a lot of Raziers. Not really somebody that I'm a huge fanboy of, where I click on their videos, any titles with their name in it. So, but let's keep the video going.
Won't show up on the YouTube, but this is the current state of the tournament. We're headed into round 1 of Pool B, TRK versus Flakes. Chat, here we go. We got TRK versus Flakes in Pool B of the FeerFest finale portion of the tournament. I think that's all the qualifiers we need. Flakes making a magical run through the qualifier without losing a series. Dropped a couple games, but that's it.
Fake challenge by Flakes. Gets TRK to flick early. Really impressive patience. Really impressive save there by Flakes. Very first play of the game, so it's really hard to know that TRK is going to go for the air dribble bump here, right? Because he hasn't conditioned Flakes to know that he's going to go for the air dribble bump. So the fact that Flakes is patient here and realizes that this is an air dribble bump attempt when it's the very first offensive play of the game is very impressive.
Today against Rawas. Saw him at a private match against Rawas right before this one, and there's no better player to warm up against right now in the game than Rawas, but TRK is going to be just about as tough as he is. Flakes off the wall, and TRK.
That's a really good fake. Really good fake from TRK.
Flakes has been a very cordial 1v1er so far in the tournament. Always
from Flakes' point of view, it kind of looks like he's got that covered. He kind of looks like he
always
very close to hitting the ball. He probably thought he had that option covered, honestly. Very close.
I mean, not every shot that I shot, but Flakes, the way he kind of defends almost does seem like he forces.
Turn on the volume a little bit.
This time it's off of a delayed shot from TRK, who's just going to try and muscle through Flakes up 2-0. How long will the Cinderella run for Flakes
50-50 from TRK straight through Flakes. Tough for Flakes there. It kind of looks like he's trying to neutralize the 50 or put it behind him. Kind of watching it, looking like wondering should he have tried to force this to the corner boost. I don't know. Did Flakes even need to wait this long? If he goes up now, I mean, TRK can go for the reset at this point from Flakes' POV and then flick it over him if he goes. So he does have to wait. By the time TRK is no longer in a flip reset position, Flakes has reacted, so he hasn't really done anything wrong here. And then the 50 comes through. Flakes with the backflip trying to force it behind him.
Flakes, a top ones player.
TRK just too solid of a 50-50 there.
From the game for long enough that we can say that. Of course, if he turns around and wins this pool, it's going to be time to stop calling it a Cinderella run and time to just recognize that Flakes is still our 1v1 overlord. TRK, this full field dribble plays right into Flakes' hand, who's waiting on the goal line. Take back to the corner. Boost does not spawn for him in time. But he does force TRK.
It's a good option there. Let me see this again. You really like to see, you know, Flakes is such a good player at knowing when something's threatening and when it's not. So he's trying to get this boost here. After he doesn't get the boost, look at this angle, this position here. He knows he has no option here. He really has no option. If he goes quickly into this ball, TRK dunks him. He has no winning angle here. He knows that. For anyone watching, you got to recognize this position where TRK is and where Flakes is, there's like nothing you can really do to win this outcome here, to win this 50-50. So what does Flakes do? He just puts himself in a position to where once TRK challenges, the ball is going to fly past his net, and he's effectively done all he could do without getting scored on. He's forced the ball past his net. That's all he could do.
Corner boost does not spawn for him in time. He does force TRK to take a really strong 50 that goes past the net. Now TRK wall to air dribble. Flakes falling from the ceiling, can't intercept, and it's a TRK.
That's a good ceiling challenge attempt by Flakes. I think he needed to definitely connect on that.
Playing the tournament live as he normally does. He played the qualifier live.
It's a good attempt because you're gonna need to switch up your defense. If you keep just waiting for goal line saves, your opponent's gonna catch on to that and
affects Flakes as much as it does other players.
Wait on executing their play until they're as close to the net as possible. So if you throw in an occasional, fast challenge or an occasional ceiling challenge, you're going to keep them guessing on what your defense is going to be like.
Flakes not going to work. Flakes does get around it. Flakes needs to find a bit of offense though. So the first minute and 30 has been all TRK all the time, and just Flakes trying to stop the bleeding. He hasn't brought the ball into the blue half except for this moment right here. And now he needs to capitalize on this opportunity. He has a boost advantage, and he does score.
Nice shot by Flakes. No flashy play. Just a simple
to the side wall.
shot on someone who's not able to save a shot.
He could stick around the play no matter what his boost situation was, but Flakes does punish him for staying too close. Direct kickoff for TRK. That's the kind of stuff that probably needs to go in Flakes' favor if he wants to stand a chance in the series against TRK.
As Fear said, this matchup is going to be, any of these matchups are going to be hard enough for Flakes as is. He needs to make sure he's not getting directly scored on from kickoffs.
TRK passed to himself off the back wall. Flakes thought he could intercept it, but instead, TRK rolls it in for a fifth.
So what Flakes does so well is he doesn't create a lot of offensive chances, but every offensive chance he gets, he converts on. He goes for very high percentage plays.
Conversion rate on times that he's been on offense might even be 1 for 1, but the problem is you can't get away with being on offense as infrequently as Flakes has been.
Not only that,
in this one though,
but if you're going to get so few offensive chances, you can't put yourself at a disadvantage even more by conceding kickoff goals. But a nice little early flick by Flakes.
First pop is strong enough that TRK is having to rush back to a position where he can make a play, and ends up being off cadence with his jumps. Flakes goes over the top of him, but I mean, right now, a couple of different direct kickoff goals are the thing that's keeping Flakes from getting anywhere close.
Yeah, if not for the direct kickoff goals, I think it'd be
at the very least
3-2 right now, 4-2, 3-2, 4-2.
This is a poor kickoff for him again. Better than the previous one that went directly in his net, though. TRK wall to air dribble, aiming to that far post.
Flip reset for TRK, straight underneath Flakes.
I don't think Flakes gets a touch on this ball. TRK
backs off, gets the reset.
To a position where anywhere could be the
defending flip resets like that is never going to get the job done, because if you look back, I mean, not only does TRK go under Flakes here, but he has more options than just that. If TRK, you watch Flakes' POV, if TRK shoots this to the far left from Flakes' point of view, the far left, he can't save that either. This reset here, TRK shoots that to the left, Flakes isn't saving that either. So when you're playing against somebody very mechanical who likes to go for a lot of resets, the reset is such a powerful mechanic.
TRK fake.
You've got to challenge them early sometimes in order to keep them guessing and keep them nervous. You know, if you make them think that you're going to early challenge, they're not just going to have the confidence to go for every reset in the world. But if you're constantly backing off all the way to your net, they're going to know they have the space, and they're just going to feel completely confident. It's going to feel like they're in free play going for flip resets. And when you're playing against somebody like TRK, he's going to hit every single flip reset that he goes for. Flakes' strategy would completely work against maybe players even SSL and lower. But when you're playing against professional level players, Flakes' style of let them mess up and then counterattack, beautiful play by Flakes there. But the play style of wait for your opponent to mess up and then counterattack isn't going to work against professional level players, because professional level players rarely mess up a free flip reset opportunity.
Oh, Flakes, a nasty own goal here. TRK.
But yes, against SSL, you know, ranked players, that playstyle can completely work, because even SSLs mess up flip reset attempts probably 40% of the time, 30-40% of the time. That's a pretty good conversion rate. But a professional level player, like, look at him go. He hits the reset every single time he goes for it.
Far away from the back wall, enough that he maybe could have gotten an angle to shoot. He definitely tried to. Couldn't get it through.
Not the best setup here by Flakes. Somebody who always preaches, you know, don't hit the ball towards your opponent. That touches straight towards his opponent, straight towards TRK. He needs to keep this ball. See if he doesn't make this touch here. where he's hitting the ball straight towards TRK. Just maybe shadows behind the play and then waits for TRK to come in and then, you know, his famous power slide cut. But obviously, hindsight's 2020. Just pointing out the touch that shut down that play, really.
Accepted by TRK, but follow-up is well timed for Flakes.
But look at him go. Anyone who doesn't know how good this simple playstyle really is and how capable it really is would see this matchup and probably think that, I mean, TRK is just going to absolutely destroy Flakes, but Flakes, you know, he plays 2v2 this way, he plays 3v3 this way against professional level players. If you ever watch him stream, not only does he play 1v1s, he does play 2v2. And when you see him play 2v2, he plays this same exact way and has a lot of success with it in top level lobbies in ranked. So he really shows that just because you're not doing something flashy doesn't mean you're not doing something that works and that's effective.
30 seconds left to go, and while the end of this game has looked great for Flakes, doesn't seem like it's going to be enough to bring back this game number one.
Imagine if this game didn't have so many direct kickoff goals against Flakes. If he can clean that up. TRK had three or four direct kickoff goals this game. Could be a 1-goal game right now.
Turnaround has been impressive. He's at least equalized the game. Maybe if he continues this trend, he can get back.
One more for the road.
He's going to get one more goal. So 9-6 will be the scoreline of game one.
Yeah, there was at least 3 direct kickoff goals, so
off to a hot start.
Could have been a game 1 win for Flakes.
Up 1-0. You could maybe call it hopium or copium for Flakes fans, but Flakes usually does a better job in later parts of the series as he works to download his opponent's tendencies. If there's anybody who is very cerebral about the way they approach 1v1, there's a guy like Flakes who's going to try and discover
and see, this is again what Flakes does. Somebody as good as TRK, as great of a player as TRK, simply throws away the ball here. And Flakes knows TRK's got no play here. He's just going to throw away the ball, so I'm just going to collect it for free.
Cerebral about the way they approach 1v1. There's a guy like Flakes.
And that's perhaps TRK realizing, or maybe, you know, thinking, okay, I'd rather throw away the ball, get reset on defense with boost, than try to continue my offensive play with 9 boost, where 150-50 gets me pretty much scored on. So he probably purposely throws that away because he'd rather throw it away and reset versus force the offense with 9 boost and then get inevitably scored on anyways. So probably a smart play there from TRK, but that's what Flakes wants. He wants to force his opponent to not have any options, give him the ball for free, and then start his offense.
TRK driving the series forward, and Flakes having to be the one to find some way to get something going on offense. This pinch with TRK results in a Flakes win.
The high touch there, knowing TRK's low on boost.
He should be able to get to it, considering his boost advantage, but then he interestingly lets the ball come all the way down to the ground.
TRK's still out of boost.
In the air.
Flakes knows. And the beautiful touch.
To beat you slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. 80% chance to score, not good enough. Flakes wants 100%. And this time, he punishes TRK for creeping out to the side wall. Taps it over the top.
It's a great play by Flakes there.
Knows for sure he's going to be getting his goal. You can just imagine Flakes commentating over his live. Well, guess what? You don't have to imagine if you don't want to. Flakes
Powerslide-Cut your mum.
Streaming his matches like he has been all
huge boost miss by Flakes there, unfortunately.
TRK trying to go low under these Flakes, who does go high on the hitbox, the midfield boost.
Great 1v1 experience there. Great 1v1. When I first saw this, I was like, man, Flakes is racing for this boost that it doesn't look like he's going to get. TRK definitely looks like he has the winning angle on that boost, but Flakes clearly has a lot of experience and knew if he did that, he was getting that boost.
TRK has more than enough to work with. Flakes is just trying to hover in that awkward spot right off the back wall where TRK doesn't feel comfortable coming to the ground. He's going to have to hand possession away, which is what Flakes wants. Flakes now.
Good control by Flakes.
I think because he felt like he had a chance to just speed past TRK. I would have expected him to get a carry and work it slow like we were known to see Flakes do, but he just felt like there was a window. He's going to get a second.
Flakes up 2. Up 2 in game 2.
TRK, once again, just playing a bit.
I really want to see the rest of these games by Flakes in this pool.
Out to Flakes, and Flakes is well positioned to steal the
Another
ball and
pretty
take it away.
poor kickoff by Flakes.
Dodge a demo attempt as he looks to do damage
If he
control.
can clean up these kickoffs, man,
Kickoff at the start of this play.
Flakes will have a much better chance against everyone else in the pool. But kickoffs might destroy Flakes.
Most Rocket League 1v1ers in the game right now see that bounce straight up and down and take it in for a full field O dribble because it costs so little boost when you have such a good setup. Flakes is not one of those 1v1ers. He's going to let the ball come all the way down to the ground before trying to make his play. He won't be able to stick with this one. So TRK, who I just talked about, how top 1v1ers can't resist those bounces, will take that air dribble. But Flakes pre-jumps him. He's able to stop him. He has been able to silence TRK's offense, but not for long.
Just slightly mistimed the play there. It's a fair play. Flakes can make this play, but he has to touch the ball slightly later, right? As soon as he makes this touch, it gives TRK the window to challenge. Right here, he separated himself from the ball to a point where he cannot get back to it while TRK is close enough to come take the shot. So if he actually perhaps doesn't touch the ball on its way down and just grazes the ball with the front of his car as it hits the ground, he keeps it on the ground with his car right behind it. That may have been what he wanted to do or what he would have wanted to do in hindsight, but he just hits the ball too early, separates himself from the ball, and that creates the opportunity for TRK there. And that's the issue. That's the issue with Flakes' play style, and probably why a lot of people don't like playing his play style in 3v3 at the professional level is, yes, it's an effective play style, but his play style doesn't create a lot of offensive chances. Like I said earlier, he converts on his offensive chances, but when you only get 5-6 offensive chances a game and you're only scoring maybe 4 or 5 goals a game versus your opponent who's getting 20 offensive chances a game and scoring, X percentage of that. If you make one mistake as Flakes or somebody playing Flakes' play style and you give them a goal for a mistake, it just means because you're creating so little offensive chances, you've now dug yourself a hole. Because you're not getting very many chances to re-equalize or to re-get that goal back. So you can't make any mistakes. You have to play this play style perfectly for it to work a lot of the time. Or at least against top level players again. Because if you give them anything for free, you're digging yourself a hole.
Recipe for success if you're Flakes. Slight kickoff advantage, and then maybe keeping the score lines low, I think works in Flakes' favor. He's going to half flip kickoff here. TRK gets absolutely nothing out of his carry. TRK straight down the center of the field. Flakes has the first save and is probably excited to see TRK getting a bit greedy for the second attempt because he knows that he can punish him here. And this is exactly what Flakes likes to do. TRK thought he could get another shot, but that's the exact kind of game that Flakes wants you to play. Bait you in, make you think you have a chance, get you to make a bad challenge, and punish you to go up 4-1. Flakes forces players to play a different 1v1 game. I think that's what it comes down to, especially considering the one's meta that these top players are used to. Games just don't play out the way Flakes makes
I also think that Flakes may sometimes be boost conservative to a fault. I think there's a lot of opportunities where if he carries the momentum on some challenges, burns some boost, holds power slide, he can score. Like this challenge here, I think actually Flakes could score.
Especially considering the ones
And
that,
you see this a couple times in this series where you feel like if Flakes actually just held down on boost, stopped trying to conserve it sometimes, he could actually score. But it's very hard to
comes down to, especially considering the ones meta that these top players are used to.
pay attention here. If he holds down power slide on his landing and boost, by the time he hits the ground, he's getting that first touch on the ball. I think he's off. I think he's off to the races. I think he might score that. But it's very hard to because like when you're playing boost conservative, what's the word? It's a habit. It is a habit to play boost conservative. So it's very hard to have a habit of a play style and also switch up on that habit in the middle of a game. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
Play out the way Flakes makes you play them. He brings the game to a screeching halt and forces you to be careful with everything.
It's very hard to just switch up on a habit or on a play style in the middle of a game.
TRK should be able to collect this and take it away, but it actually
same thing we saw earlier. TRK no boost, would rather give up the ball and regain boost than try to force the offense with no boost, which is again probably smart by TRK.
Flakes high near the ceiling where he doesn't want to take him. It's pretty clear Flakes does not want to start from there. Always wants the ball to come back down to the ground. So it's a good idea to force him to play high.
Flakes can't avoid the bump that time.
He slams the ball away immediately, and then TRK gets an air dribble right back. TRK recognizing that Flakes wants to make that goal line save. So
chat, holy cringe Lord TRK.
Interesting stuff from Flakes. Not what you want to see from him. All of chat dying of cringe over TRK's bump attempt. How about this one?
And this is the power of the flip reset. Once you get that reset, your opponent has to respect you so much harder because you can do.
TRK continues to control kickoffs like this.
Well, again, when you're a top level player, you can do anything with that reset. You know, again, waiting, being patient, even when somebody has a reset, can work at lower ranks if you're really good at defending and reacting to a shot quickly. But against a top level player who is just a master at flip resets and can do whatever they want once they get the reset, waiting on the goal line is never going to work. So I really, you know what, I'll wait. I will wait because I have watched this before, as I mentioned earlier.
Before taking the shot, Flakes gets the save, has a hook shot for a fifth, make it 5-3. Flakes, 30 seconds left to go.
But that's exactly how Flakes wants to play. He wants to get the goal line save into the free net.
Doesn't seem likely. TRK off the back wall, trying to play it extra slow. Felt like he probably needed
trying to get Flakes to react to his double tap attempt and then place it around him. But Flakes, again, just waits on the goal line. He would rather play the option where you mess up and he gets a free net versus predicting that you are going to hit the shot. But again, that's not a great play style to utilize against a player like TRK.
Towards the end of the game, that's because Flakes half flipping out of the kickoff and just gets completely destroyed by TRK's fake. 12 seconds left to go. Wave dash kickoff for Flakes hasn't been going as well as it does for some other players. He's lost a few of those directly into his net and lost possession to TRK on this one, but he knows that he won this game because he has delayed TRK long enough. He's going to prevent him from bringing it within one. He wants him to know that the win was by 2. Flakes ties up the series 1-1. Just a best of 3 left to decide the difference.
Game 3.
Game number 3. TRK and Flakes playing out like a storybook so far. TRK coming out with his unstoppable offense in the first game, and Flakes doing what he does best, downloading the opponent and adjusting so as to play the game that he wants to play in game number 2.
Great air dribble bump here by TRK. That's another weakness of Flakes' play style. is, I forget who said it, but a very true statement. If somebody's not going for the ball, if somebody is very patient, well, if they're not going to go for the ball, you go for them, right? They can't make a save if they are bumped or deleted. If they're not going to go for the ball, you go for them.
EU connection to Middle East servers is not as good as the reverse. Middle East connection to EU is better. And the Middle East players are also very, very used to playing on EU servers. They probably play most of their ranked there. And so it's kind of like US West players. US West players have to play all their tournaments on US East just because that is where all official tournaments are played and where the US West players are very used to playing, even though they get similar ping, I would say, to the Middle East players do on EU. Look at the shot from TRK.
Yeah.
TRK is starting to pop off and make it impossible for Flakes to stop him. The full field dribble, the reset right when
I gotta see this again, you know what?
TRK. So they get similar ping, I would say, to the Middle East.
I feel like the Fennec is so random on its flip resets. As a Fennec main, I love the Fennec for its ground plays and its ground control. But I definitely think the Octane is better in the air. I've said this a million times if you've ever, Anyways, I think the Octane is a much better and more consistent car in the air. The Fennec is so random on how it gets resets, how it hits the ball after you get a reset. If it gets the reset in the first place, I feel like the Octane is so much more predictable in the air, and it's a lot easier to increase your skill level in the air with the Octane because it's more predictable, it's more consistent. Like, this is a completely normal setup for a reset, and half the time you'll go for this and you'll get nothing on the ball, and then randomly you'll get this perfect flick. I feel like when you're going for a reset on the Fennec, you have to react to what kind of reset you get. You're not really always in complete control of what sort of reset you get on the Fennec, whereas it's a bit more consistent on the Octane. Like, on the Octane, you could actually master that. You could master getting the reset into the double tap, whereas I feel like, maybe it's just me, obviously I'm not a pro, but I definitely feel like on the Fennec, it's going to be a lot harder, if not impossible, to master the reset, like a reset into a double tap, because it's so hard to control the result of the flick on your reset versus on the Octane.
Well, I mean, the man does it all in the process of
like,
third goal.
Personally, I don't know if TRK was going for that. I would say that he went for it, saw the opportunity, and finished it. I wouldn't necessarily say he was going for that. Just based on my personal experience of using the Fennec for so long. I've mained the Fennec pretty much since it came out.
Started with serious lead in game number 1, and it was too much for Flakes to come back from. I do think what most of Flakes' wins will look like is a nice, slow game in which he's relevant the whole way through. A game like this where TRK is popping off for a full 4 goal.
We're going to see a lot more of that.
We see Flakes coming back from.
Let me just say that we're going to see a lot more of that play right there.
There's 4 minutes left in the game. In normal context, you would never suggest this lead being insurmountable, but the way Flakes likes to play, it's going to be a tough game for him. It's game number 3. TRK trying to pull off the ball. No shot he can make would have been better than him just leaving.
Top corner shot. Flakes with the save. Follow up top corner shot.
A shot as perfectly as this, there's nothing Flakes can do. Sure, you can get one save, but you're not going to be able to get the save again when he puts it right back.
Yeah, that's super tough.
Location. Flakes was forced into the side wall of the net, and there's no way he's recovering. TRK outplaying Flakes on the sidewall, and now can rush back to net.
Another reset goal.
Everything is going TRK's way. It's interesting. When TRK is
Flakes can't really challenge at that point in time. There's nothing really Flakes could have done there
gaining control of
with his positioning.
As frequently as he is in this game, you know, it looks like Flakes is outclassed. It looks like, what is Flakes doing here, sitting in net, just getting destroyed by TRK time and time again? But if TRK starts to lose control of the kickoffs a little bit, lets Flakes control.
So I was waiting to say this. Kind of two things I'm kind of waiting to say. What I
Destroyed by
actually
it looks like what is Flakes doing here?
like to see here is Flake take the ball and go for this air dribble or this air dribble bump pop, this aerial pop, anything like this. What I'm gonna say is the one thing going forward, pay attention to is Flakes doesn't switch it up. He has not switched it up. He doesn't really switch it up at all, unfortunately. I think that's another thing. Kickoffs and switching it up is super important if you're Flakes. Because if your opponent knows every time this guy gets the ball, he's going to come to the ground. Anytime the ball's rolling towards the sidewall, he's not going to make an aerial play. He's going to bring it to the ground. They know that they don't have to worry about the aerial play, and so they position perfectly for your ground play that you're about to make, or they challenge the ball on the sidewall when they're on the ground because they know you're not planning on taking it past them up the wall. That's just not how you like to play. So I think what Flakes needs to do for sure is switch it up more. He needs to keep his opponent guessing on what he's going to do. Is he going to make an aerial play or is he going to make a ground play? If you can put that thought in their mind, they're going to respect you and give you the space that you need for those ground plays much easier and more often. And that's something that Flakes would definitely take advantage of and would be super beneficial. If Flakes can create more space for himself by getting his opponents to back off, by occasionally throwing in the aerial play, that keeps them guessing on what he's going to do. It'll be a lot easier for Flakes. And same thing, what I was waiting to say on defense is same thing every time Flakes can challenge a ball early, shut down the aerial play early, shut down the reset before they're even able to set it up. Jump at the wall, pinch the ball off the wall. Yeah, you might have to give away possession. It might go flying to their corner where they beat you to their corner boost and then they have possession again anyways. But at least you're making them think, okay, he's not giving me a free flip reset setup. You have to switch up your defense and your offense to keep your opponents guessing so they're not just comfortable doing whatever they want to do. And that's something that I think Flakes really didn't do this series, is switch up his defense or his offense. He's always waiting till the last second. He waits on the goal line. He never challenges a ball that's on the sidewall, never dives at it, never tries to shut it down before it's even set up. And offensively, he rarely in this series throws in any sort of aerial play to keep his opponent guessing.
Starts to lose control of the kickoffs a little bit.
He needs, in the future, playing against Raziers, Moxie, and eventually TRK again, he needs to switch up his offense and his defense.
Classic as he shifts behind the ball, waiting for TRK to make that backup challenge that should not be favorable for him, but he does manage to prevent Flakes from scoring. Now it's another reset dribble for TRK. Pops the ball high. He's just going to try and 50 it on the goal line. Flakes can't keep it out, and I think TRK might have gotten one more touch to finish it. 7-0. This game is certainly TRK's. I mean, half the game left to go. Flakes is not the kind of guy to ever give up, I don't think. He's the kind of guy to just work harder and recognize what's happening, that he's not been stopping. Try and see if he can prove it. Air dribble fake, and then
that was another beautiful play.
The wave dash.
Not only is it a wave dash, the wave dash into the perfect flick.
He was intentionally trying to set up the Brazil. I think he was prepping to try and make the save. This is a
wave dash into a flick. Perfect execution there.
TRK, another kickoff win. One of his weaker offensive attacks here, but ends up placing the ball well. Flakes actually going to throw him the nice shot. This is kind of the Flakes style offense. Pushing the ball to an awkward place for the defender.
And that's what makes TRK such a tough opponent. He's not just a mechanical mastermind. He is very, very smart. Very smart player. You see what TRK did there? He shut down the play on the sidewall. This is what Flakes needs to do more. Imagine your TRK here. Flakes is TRK and TRK is Flakes. If Flakes did this to his opponent every once in a while, when he gets a boost and he's in a setup to go for like an aerial play or to set up a play, but you just dive at it, you shut it down before it's even possible, that keeps you guessing, what is my opponent going to do?
Flakes is going to read TRK's half flip kickoff, take the ball back to his corner. TRK demoed as he tries to cut in front of Flakes' net. And so now Flakes, with 2 minutes on the clock, slightly less. He needs to start getting some goals of his own.
Yeah, hook shot. If you can master a hook shot, hook shots are. You rarely see people save hook shots in your own games and in pro games. Hook shots are, when you put them on target, they're like a 90% success rate. Hook shots are insane. I don't know exactly what it is about hook shots. Yes, they're super fast shots, but like, I think it's something to do with the speed and the timing, and just the fact that like there's other options you can do with them, right? It's hard to predict where the shot's gonna go. That comes so fast, and when you have a hook shot, you're also able to threaten a fake. You're also able to threaten a flick. You know, there's so many options. You're able to threaten an aerial play off the bounce. I think that's what makes hook shots so good.
But needs to prevent TRK from getting those positions because, like some other 1v1 players in the game, TRK is basically automatic with a wall to air dribble. And it's equivalent, or just as close to equivalent as possible, as a direct kickoff win. With how.
So notice Flakes, pretty much every time he gets the ball on offense, he scores. He's got like a 80% conversion rate on offense to goals, but he started off with a 7-goal deficit, and that's where this play style isn't the best against a top-level player because they're going to score every single time. Not only are you scoring every time you're on offense, but they score 50% of the time they're on offense, but they get 3 times as many offensive chances as you. The math adds up. They're going to score more goals at the end of the day. If you give them 3 times as many offensive chances and they're scoring 50% of them, the math just adds up to where they're going to win.
Off a standard kickoff, TRK instantly uses a jump, actually pushes him away. Did he jump off the ball but still had a second flip since he jumped off the ball and the timer wasn't up? How did he have another one to backflip away from the play? But either way, that second use of the flip was just a mistake. It made him even farther away from stopping Flakes. TRK direct kickoff win, 9-4. Yo, Rampage RL, thank you for the prime.
The squishy kickoff, man. Look at that. Look at how it worked so perfectly. This is definitely something that Squishy popularized. I don't know if he invented it. Maybe he would have seen it used by somebody else and then used it in a video or something. But first time I ever saw anyone do this was Squishy back in the day. And nobody really, I feel like Squishy doesn't get a lot of the credit that he deserves for pioneering this game, honestly. Because this is definitely something that Squishy brought to people's attention. And I'm surprised you don't see this kickoff more often. Look how effective it works. You're facing backwards, so as soon as you hit the ball, if it goes towards your end, you're already facing it. You can get there fast. If it doesn't go towards your end, I mean, just look at how perfect it worked.
That is the different kind of.
I feel like people like to ignore the pioneering that Squishy does just because he's gotten enough credit in his time. He's got enough.
Has to give TRK credit here.
I don't know how to say it. He's got enough respect. People are kind of they're kind of tired of giving Squishy so much praise. They want his era to be over, but you can't deny that Squishy has pioneered a lot of this game. If not by inventing certain things, by popularizing them.
Nice shots left and right here. It's his only defense against very effective TRK. Another kickoff win for TRK. It's really what it comes down to right now. Yo, they were the $5 for the winner TRK. Like I mentioned before, not sure we can add money to the prize pool, but the winner of this series will be getting $100, regardless of where they end up finishing in the tournament. TRK, a demo Will he make it 12-5 to end the game? He will. So TRK
ran away with this
using
one.
up all his offense in this game, but certainly making it look like it's going to be a foregone conclusion in game number 4 that he continues on for his series win. We saw yesterday in the North American pool play every single series go 3-1. But we see another 3-1 here. Not sure how the other series is going on Hootie's channel.
That was sort of another option that I was talking about earlier, or another example of what I was talking about earlier with the resets on the Fennec being so random. Yes, TRK sort of resets too far in front of the ball, too far underneath the ball.
One here.
But I don't know. I feel like you see the Octane get a better touch than that, even on a reset in the same exact position. That's weird.
Going on Hootie's channel. Flakes is going to keep it up. Apparently, he's in no rush to get out.
That would have been cool.
Swamping that has been game number 3. Game number 4. TRK and
It's a good kickoff for Flakes.
TRK exploded for an offense that was unstoppable for Flakes, but most importantly, started to consistently.
TRK in there again with the reset. Is he scoring again? He is. Flakes can't defend these resets against TRK. And I mean, going back, does he have a chance at any point in time to shut this down? Yeah. I mean, yeah, jump at that ball right there. Don't give him, you can't give this guy the free aerial play. He needs to jump up at the wall, pinch that. Just pinch it. Just do it. You got to. You're getting scored on if you don't. And it's just about changing it up. Every once in a while, you shut this down now, TRK is going to hesitate. He's going to hesitate. That's what you need to do. You need to cause the hesitation by making them think about what you're going to do.
It's hard to remember the last time Flakes won one. In fact, this is actually a decent start for him. That him being Flakes, because he did pressure TRK a little bit off the kickoff. It wasn't an immediate dribble for TRK, but he did get to his spot nonetheless.
Yeah, I saw this chat as I was watching it. It was so funny. TRK reset merchant, literally. Every single goal that TRK pretty much has scored has been off of a reset.
Kickoff for Flakes as he looks for the answer.
To reset merchant.
Getting past TRK standard. I think TRK has stuck.
But look at that again. Flakes gets the ball, he scores.
Enough to get past Flakes every time. Just really effective mechanical. Standard kickoff can do it for you.
It's just that he gets way less of those chances than his opponent.
Wave dash kickoff had been really
which is fine. Which is fine against somebody who's not like a perfect player, like a top level player like TRK or Moxie.
Able to neutralize them now. In fact, has another first possession. He's going to be forced to back off this ball. Unless TRK pops the ball too much. TRK did have a huge boost.
Unless Flakes adapts going forward in the series, as he's no longer in the open qualifier. He's now playing against the best of the best. He's not playing against random players with nothing to their name, just high MMR. He's now playing against professional players. So unless Flakes adapts going forward for the rest of this tournament, starts throwing in more early challenges, starts shutting down these plays early, I don't see him winning a series against any of these top level 1v1 players. He has to switch up the offense and the defense every once in a while.
Flakes knows it. He's made that adjustment to coming to challenge on the side wall and not letting TRK start his wall to air dribble. Now Flakes with the ball bouncing back and forth. This is
that's beautiful.
Flakes.
I was so hyped when
Flakes wants to be. He wants the ball bouncing left to right on the map, and he wants to be able to cut past somebody, or in this case,
2 chances, 2 goals for Flakes.
Goal. TRK throws the
flaking.
No way. As he gets destroyed on that take. I expect to see more wave dash kickoff for Flakes because right now it has been a good enough answer. TRK.
What I'm noticing about TRK, maybe something to take note of, is anytime he doesn't have much boost or like he has less than 10 boost, he's fine. He's happy to just give away the ball. Just give away the ball and get boost and get reset up. He'd rather give away the ball and get boost than force the offense with no boost, which again I think is smart. To be fair, to be honest.
He wants to meet TRK high. How is he going to try and defend this one though? TRK the reset and lets the ball just bounce through. Flakes couldn't connect with it. So interesting what the reset can do in the game.
Yeah, because he can shoot that at any point in time. Flakes can't kill his momentum there. If he kills his momentum as soon as he shoots that, he can't get to it anymore. So he has to keep driving, and then he just drives past it. That's the power of the reset. And as somebody said earlier, reset merchant. TRK lands every single reset he's gone for.
He still gets a good position out of it. You know he's going to go for the ball carry. Sees TRK creeping towards him. Decides to test his defense. How can he handle a ball sent to
something that Flakes really likes to do, you'll notice, is he flicks early a lot. He flicks early a lot. You hear AppJack talk about this a lot as well in his videos. He likes to flick early, one, to just test the defense, see if they make a silly mistake for no reason, but two, it gives you control of the play going forward. Because you flick it, they have to jump, and once they jump, you can see, you can read their car and the angle of the play and where they're planning on taking it. So he sees this touch is moving this direction, so that means the play is going to go in this direction. He knows he can go for this boost steal, and then he's boost starving TRK. He now has the boost advantage going forward, and that's what he's looking to do. Slowly gain the boost advantage, break down the opponent.
Can he stay in control of it? Doesn't seem like TRK can. He should be releasing control eventually, right? Just kidding. TRK absolutely can.
Another amazing play. It's just what you'd expect from TRK.
He gets exactly what he needs at the midfield 100 and is able to play it off the ceiling. He was so close to losing control of that ball. Did that boost spawn right underneath him, or was it there the whole time? Either way, it was the key to him being able to finish off that play. TRK from the back corner. Really strong first touch. Flakes, does he have the answer to TRK? This time he does save the bounce. That Flakes does not get tricked by that TRK reset fake.
Can Flakes score again on his offensive possession?
Down to his car again. He loves the flick game. Can he get TRK to miss on defense? Last time we saw him get a clear so far out. The power slide cut from Flakes is so clean.
Yep, he sure can.
My goodness. It is hard to stop the ball like this. And the thing is, Flakes will do this, and then he'll say, getting to Grand Champ with no mechanics or something like that. That is a hard mechanic. That is a hard mechanic. Getting that perfect power slide cut right back towards the net. There's a reason why TRK didn't expect it. It's because it's not easy to do. Just because it isn't a crazy reset doesn't mean it isn't a hard mechanic. But Flakes ties the game. TRK falling from the ceiling. Flakes gets a reset on boost here. And it's
this was disgusting when I was watching this.
Falling from the ceiling.
This is disgusting. So let me go back one more time.
Ties the game. TRK falling from the ceiling.
TRK burns so much boost to get to this ball here. He's got 10 boost by the time he gets the reset and still scores. Reset merchant, man. The flip reset is so good when it's mastered in 1v1s, in other game modes as well, but especially in 1v1s. In other game modes, you can send one person to challenge and you have somebody behind them to save the ball, but in 1v1, you either challenge or you don't, and you're at the mercy of the reset. So if you've got the reset mastered, you're unstoppable in 1v1s. You really are. Unless the opponent gets in your mind a little bit. You don't know if you have the time to go for the reset. You don't know if they're going to early challenge, late challenge. That's why Flakes needs to switch it up. Because every single player that he plays against in this tournament is going to be just as good as TRK at hitting these resets. So if he doesn't switch it up, he's going to get crushed.
Flakes, you can see, trying to hold on to the 31 boost that he had, but could not afford to turn back in towards the corner. Had to prep for a shadow and start expecting the ball to be in front of the net. Instead, he gets lost driving into the corner. Power shot off the wall for TRK. Likely to take this back all the way into the blue half, I would imagine. As he's looking to just maintain possession against Flakes. Full field dribble for him. It's worked well. Look at this reset. Can he carry it all the way in? No.
That would have been a nutty goal.
Flakes.
But every single save as well that Flakes has had to make, that's another downfall of waiting till the goal line, you know, to make your saves against a good player like this. Because when they put it on target like that, you land in the net off of your save a lot of the time. And that means they're going to beat you to the corner boost, and they're just going to keep their offense going. When they beat you to your own corner boost after the save, they get to just keep going.
Movement to end that possession. That's why Flakes is able to get the save despite how impressive it was for TRK to stay in control of it. TRK, he's going to take this bounce. You know he is. And Flakes knows it too. He pre-jumps it. He's up at the ceiling to stop that dribble. TRK, though, immediately turned back down to the ground and prepped for his second chance, which is this one. It's going to be another fake. Flakes forced in the air because TRK is just too good. And he'll get a 6th goal. Seems like Flakes has done it. Likely created a deficit that cannot be made up by Flakes. Thank you, Juicy, for the raid, by the way. Hopefully you had a good stream today. Juicy, one of the unfortunate victims to Flakes in the qualifier. And I think he'd be the first one to say Flakes is a tough opponent to play against. TRK. This fake doesn't lead to a shot attempt, but it is a safe maneuver.
Well, why is Flakes a tough opponent to play against from a player named Juicy? Guess what? I've never heard of Juicy. No offense to Juicy, but he is not a pro player. Flakes' play style works very well against people who aren't pro players. But once you get to this level, the top 0.01% of players, you gotta change the play style a little bit. You do things. You gotta start throwing in some early challenges. You gotta start throwing in some aerial plays. Because against a pro player, when you give them time and space, they're going to do something that is impossible to save every single time.
Which is just you don't see too often. Flakes, the 180 backflip flick. It is going to be a loss for Flakes in the first round, but taking a game off TRK is something that could end up playing into his favor because tiebreaker does go to the game advantage. TRK could be sweeping other people in this pool for sure.
They're just going to walk it into the other. That's it. That's the series 3-1. Just as Fear said, all the series the other day went to 3-1, and this one was no exception. Flakes, his offense looks great. It's just about getting more of those offensive possessions, which is going to come down to throwing in more aerial plays. Throwing in those aerial plays is going to make your opponent give you space. They have to respect the fact that you might be going for an aerial play and they have to back off. Whereas if every single play you make is a ground play, they know they can creep up and get closer because you're not going into the air. But if you go into the air when they're close to you, they're screwed. So that's why he needs to start throwing in more aerial plays to get his opponent to back off, to get him the space that he wants in order to create these offensive chances. And Flakes, you know, as TRK has shown here, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to, you know, on your aerial plays, you don't have to go for an air dribble to the ceiling into a air dribble from the ground to the ceiling for a ceiling shot or a ceiling double tap. You don't have to go for a double reset, a triple reset. You don't have to go for pogos. A simple flip reset. Take the ball, and Flakes is capable of getting a flip reset. Get the reset, threaten something with the reset. Flakes is more than capable of that. And then on defense, you gotta shut down some plays early. You gotta go for the pinch off of the sidewall when the ball is rolling up the wall for a perfect air dribble setup, for a perfect flip reset setup, for a perfect any aerial play setup. You gotta throw your car at the ball sometimes, shut it down. He had a couple of pre-jumps, you know, a couple of pre-jumps on like TRK's aerial plays, which is good, you know, does somewhat keep TRK guessing if you're gonna pre-jump, but you'd rather just shut it down before he even gets that opportunity. Alright, but that's it. That's the end of the video, guys. That's the end of the series. Again, if you want to watch it on Fear's channel, I definitely recommend doing so. I had some great commentary. Check out the rest of his videos and subscribe to Fear because the rest of Flakes' series will be on his channel, I presume, from this tournament. If you like the video, make sure to leave a like on this video. Let me know if you want to see more of these. Should I cover more Flakes or any other players from this tournament's 1v1s? Do some more 1v1 analysis like this. let me know. This was definitely fun. And if I do more of these in the future, I won't watch the video ahead of time. So I, have more to react to, more genuine reactions, more hype reactions. But yeah, I think this was entertaining and insightful. Until the next video, guys, sayonara.